And I want to say to everybody, thank you for sharing the sheets. They were a lot of fun to see, and especially with certain ideas coming from different directions for different purposes. And I also want to uh, ask well, I don't want direct answers, but it's time to look at your characters' backgrounds and decide a little bit about some things if you haven't done so already. For example, some of you have started to do this, so I know who, for example, it says my character's lover and so on, and other events in the backstory. So if you look at your character's backstory a little bit, please feel free to start thinking of people, who they are, the fact that you have not really been in communication with them for a little while, and maybe we can have a conversation later or bring that stuff into play more directly now that we are here on Earth doing Earth things. So I just want you to do that. And I also think that if there's material there that really doesn't interest you, we can kind of let it fade away if you want as well. Although there is four things, it's just enough to work with for a nice, solid little character backstory. So look at those, get some ideas for what you want if you haven't already, and that would be wonderful. Okay, so I now have our situation, which is exactly the same as it was when we stopped playing last week. And I have heard one or two people say one or two things about what they want to do. And I'm very open to letting you do what you want, but there are certain uh, situations, conditions, details that you need to know. I will remind you that the ISIS compound or property, the building itself, the area, had been invaded by at least one activist who had climbed over a wall and was running around in the back gardens where the grave of one of the ISIS founders is, and was you heard on the report when you were listening to the security people that they had caught that person and that he didn't seem to be up to anything terribly bad. He wasn't wearing a bomb or anything like that. So they, restrained them, and that person is apparently in custody, but you don't know further details. You also know that the activists outside are currently being managed by the police and the small security staff of ICES. But it's very difficult to deal with them. Uh, they are not fighting back, but they are making a really good show of being, peaceful protesters who are being harassed by police. That may be the case. They may be peaceful protesters who are being harassed by the police. These are small town police in America. They don't really like outsiders very much, and they are not trained to deal with crowd control. And even allowing for the fact that in 1994, when the game is written, most people's awareness of the habits of American police was poor, unless you had dealt with it yourself. So even in that context, the police are being too rough, basically. And this is being captured on camera. Wanda Welcome is proudly demanding that Edmund Brackenberry, the director of ICES, come out here face to face, and they are peaceful people offering nothing but violence, offering only communication, and she wants to talk to him. Will he speak to her while the world is watching? And so that is the situation out there in the front that you can see some of through that window. And then there are I'm trying to think if there's anything else specific. Oh, yes, there's a number of things that I mentioned about what you had said to the people in the conference room and the information that they had received from Russia. Um, if anyone wants to ask, if anyone wants to tell me what they want to do, you are not completely at liberty. There are security. Oh, most of the security in the building have actually stepped outside. So the building may have some security here, but not a lot. And it's not a very big security staff anyway. If you read the description of the headquarters, you might have been a little bit alarmed, like I was, to realize just how badly defended that place is. For a, you know, for the world headquarters of the high-tech installation of the best and brightest research worldwide, I would feel a lot safer on the Chinese or the Russian headquarters facilities. That's all I have to say. I think they probably do a much better job than these people. So that is where I stand at the moment. I open it up to my fellow players to tell us all what they want to do, what is happening. If I get a good picture for all 5 of you, then we can jump from place to place and manage each situation very efficiently. So let me know what you have in mind.
I have a plan. I want to make a secure, probably video call, because to my lover or fiance, girlfriend.
Now, where would you like to do this from? In front of God and everybody, as we used to say in the States?
No, this is a private call, but I'm not. It's not. It's a private. But I totally accept. I think my girlfriend is not a secret to ISIS. They know about her, so if they want to like monitor my call for security reasons, and so I don't like, so I'm totally open about it towards ISIS, and I'm probably totally open towards the others that I'm making, that I have to have a tough call, but not.
Maybe I'm being a little unclear. I want to know what your character is doing. Does that mean you're leaving the room?
I don't know what's the procedures around these kind of like.
Well, I
What's
think
in
the
my
procedures.
contract?
I think that right now you have a golden opportunity. I don't think that you have the ability to make a secure call under ordinary circumstances. I think that the ISIS building is probably under a certain kind of surveillance that means even private calls are probably picked up and kept in the archives. So that's a really international place. They don't really want, they've got security for that kind of thing. But right now, given the circumstances, if you get to the communications room, you might be able to get a pretty good chance, especially given your skills. It might take a skill roll, but you could
I'm not
probably get
interested
in
in.
there. What is that?
I don't want this to be. I don't want this to be secret to ISIS. I even want them to hear what I'm saying.
In that
I
case,
want.
to do what you say, what I'm
Yeah,
hearing is that you need to go to that communications room.
yeah. And
That's all.
I'm probably like writing my name down when I go in there, and I'm making it. I'm checking, so they're taping this and everything.
Really? Okay. So you are
I'm
you are going to
Chinese.
leave the room there. Everybody else, thoughts?
Me next. So the meeting is over. We are free
Well,
to.
effectively,
Yeah.
there's a lot more to talk about, but there is a minor crisis situation at the moment.
Okay. I don't want to go anywhere on my own, but I do want to find Danny. ASAP. So I would try to see if Stacy looks very occupied, or if I can ask her where his lab or office is,
Um,
and then
okay.
try to find a way.
He works mainly at the trans ego device, and so he currently you last saw him downstairs, and currently that team is trying to uh, uh, they are on standby to see if the trans ego device is supposed to be taken apart and put into boxes. They have a security plan for the trans ego device. That's the only one, right? They have not been able to build one of their own. This is the old one from 85 years ago, and it's been modified, but it is not. It's very precious. So whenever there's a security breach or a problem at the base, even a minor one like this, they go onto alert. They have a protocol for taking that thing apart and packing it away and then doing things with it to make it secure. So that team, he is with that team at the moment. So he's downstairs.
So much about that. No
Well,
plans.
okay.
Apart from speaking to other people, no plans. Is there anything like a cafeteria or something like that?
Yeah, please look through the headquarters and there is a cafeteria. Please look through the numbers and I will be happy to do that. I'm sorry to use you like this, but partly it's so that I don't have to keep saying left, right around corridors that your characters have been walking through already.
It's
So
fine.
it's not that big a place. Your characters would have figured all this out by now.
I took the maths, but I didn't want to take the texts because
Oh,
I
I
didn't
see.
want to spoil anything.
Oh, I see. Okay, well,
But I find
yeah.
I
Okay,
find it.
perfect. And so, anyone else? Emma?
I think I'm going to Rinsky and ask if how can I help the situation?
He says, first of all, things look bad. We don't, I don't like this, pointing outside. He says, these Americans are completely naive. Brackenberry is an idealist. There's no way he's going to resist it. And sure enough, even as Rimsky's talking, Brackenberry straightens himself and McKinnon is saying, "Sir, I really don't advise you doing this." And he's saying that she wants the truth. We will tell the truth, and I will meet her in open debate. That's the way of science. And you guys can see, Stacy kind of going, "All right," but then she kind of tugs under her arm, a little bit, like her clothes under her arm as it adjusts her shoulder on her way out with him. So clearly she's checking her weapons on the way out. And I'll tell you more about Rimsky. Rimsky says, listen, we need to prepare the possibility of an extraction. Tell me, if you had to choose, which of this team would you go back there with? Who would you go back there with? And we also want to extract the previous jump team. They are full of data that these people do not really know how to recover. They don't have the right techniques. We've been very successful with Nikolai Zlatan, and if we can get that previous team over there, we can extract a lot of information from them. So and if we can get hold of that device, we can start running our own jumps. So of this team, who do you think whom would you take with you?
I just have to advise you to not do it because the last team sound little unstable and you cannot count on them.
We agree, or I agree with you. We won't send them on any jumps. We just need to find out what they really know.
Then I think the psychology professor is very good at that. stuff like that.
Okay, but if you had to go back to Xenos,
Yeah,
with-
he is
he is the-
very good
okay.
at stuff
Okay.
too.
All right. In that case, we'll start making our plans. Simply be ready for a signal that we are going to exit. And he'll say to you, we'll get, come to. Actually, let's pick somewhere really, really stupid in Dillon. This would be kind of fun. At what's their name? Bubba and Earl. Those guys who run the gas station, Bert and Earl or whatever their names are.
Is it the Swedish you're thinking about?
No, it's the in the headquarters stuff in the book. There's a particular gas station that these two brothers take care of, or that's their business. And he says, there will be a Chevrolet pickup truck there. Now, of course, the Chevrolet pickup trucks are all electric now, but they still look like Chevrolet pickups. They kept the look, right? So, therefore, he says you can't. And he kind of looks amused at himself and says, "You can't miss it." And so, when we give the signal, extract Rodier and bring him.
Yes.
Yeah. And so he says, we anticipate within 24 hours. If we don't do it in 24 hours, abort. Then forget it. But we have a window. We may take it. It depends on what happens here now.